He wasn't supposed to be there. I don't hike alone anymore. I used to go every weekend with my best friend. Same trail, same routine. We'd meet at the parking lot just after sunrise, joke about who was running late, then disappear into the woods for a few hours to clear our heads. That morning he didn't show. I waited 20 minutes. No texts, no calls. I figured he overslept or missed the turn like he sometimes did. I should have gone home. Instead, I started the hike alone, thinking I'd run into him somewhere along the trail. The forest was quiet, not peaceful, just empty. No birds, no wind. Just my footsteps crunching against dirt and leaves. About halfway in, the trail narrowed along a steep drop. I remember thinking I should slow down. That's when my foot slipped. I felt the ground vanish beneath me. My body tilted forward, weight shifting toward the edge. For a split second, I knew I was about to fall. Then something grabbed my leg. Hard. I felt fingers wrap around my ankle and yank me backward. I hit the ground on my back, heart hammering, breath knocked out of me. "Damn," a familiar voice said. "You almost ate it." I looked up. It was him. My friend stood over me, hand still on my leg, breathing a little heavy like he'd been running. "Where the hell did you come from?" I said. He laughed. "You walked too fast." Relief washed over me. My hands were shaking, but I forced a smile. "You were late," I said. "I thought you weren't coming." "Yeah," he said, shrugging. "Traffic was weird." We kept hiking. Everything felt normal again. Too normal. We talked about stupid stuff. Work, movies, nothing important. The forest felt warmer, brighter. I didn't even think about what had almost happened. At one point, I stopped to take a picture of the trail ahead. "Hold on," I said, turning back to show him. He wasn't there. I figured he'd stepped off the trail for a second. I called his name. No answer. I waited. A minute passed. Then another. Something felt wrong. Not scared, just empty. Like the sound had been turned down on the world. I walked back a few steps. Nothing. That's when my phone rang. It was his mom. Her voice was tight, panicked. "Have you heard from him?" she asked. I laughed nervously. "Yeah, I'm with him right now." She went silent. "He never made it to the trail," she said. "He missed his exit, tried to turn around on the highway. He got hit." My stomach dropped. "He's alive," she said quickly, "but he's in the hospital. They don't know how bad yet." I stood there staring at the dirt where he should have been standing. I told her I'd come by later and ended the call. I finished the hike alone. I don't remember how I got back to my car. A week later, he was released from the hospital, bruised, shaken, alive. I told him what happened. He laughed it off at first, said adrenaline does weird things to the brain, said I probably imagined it, but when I described exactly what he'd said, the joke faded. Because those were his words, the same ones he always used, down to the tone. I still don't know who pulled me back from that edge. I just know one thing. If nothing had grabbed my leg that day, I wouldn't be here to tell this story. And I never hike alone anymore. You're already logged in. I worked night dispatch for 6 years, graveyard shift. The hours where your coffee goes cold before you remember to drink it, and the radio chatter fades into background noise you don't even notice anymore. That night started quiet, too quiet. No drunks, no domestics, not even a barking dog call. Just the hum of monitors and the occasional key tap as officers checked in. At 2:17 a.m., I got a 911 call. No voice, just breathing. Slow, close, like the caller had the phone pressed against their face. "911, what's your emergency?" I said. The breathing stopped. Then the line went dead. I tried to call back. No answer. The number came back as a landline, old infrastructure, registered to a warehouse on the east side of town. Industrial area, mostly abandoned after midnight. I dispatched a unit. Officer Ramirez was closest. "Ramirez, respond to a 911 hang-up. East Side Warehouse. Address coming through now?" There was a pause before he replied. "Copy. I'm about 3 minutes out." While he was en route, I pulled up the warehouse cameras. City-installed exterior feeds only. Grainy, black and white, barely useful. But something caught my eye. A patrol car was already parked outside. Lights off. Engine dark. That wasn't possible. I checked unit status. Ramirez was still en route. No other officers were logged in that sector. I keyed the mic. Ramirez, do you see a patrol car on scene? Another pause. Longer this time. No, he said. I don't see anything. I stared at the screen. The car was there, clear as day, parked crooked near the loading dock. Driver's door slightly open. Ramirez, I said slowly. Camera shows a unit already on location. Silence, then. Dispatch. I just passed the address. My stomach dropped. Say again? I passed it, he said. There was no car, no lights, just an empty lot. I zoomed the feed. The patrol car was gone. At 2:23 a.m., a unit checked in on my console. Unit YD 3-Adam-12. That was impossible. 3-Adam-12 had been retired 2 years earlier. The officer assigned to it had died of a heart attack during a traffic stop. I thought it was a system glitch. Happens sometimes with old IDs. Then the radio crackled. Dispatch. On scene. The voice was wrong. Flat. No static. Too clean. Like it was recorded somewhere quiet. Unit calling. Identify yourself, I said. No response. 3-Adam-12. Identify. A few seconds passed. Then, we're already here. My screen refreshed on its own. A new camera feed opened. Interior view. The warehouse hallway. I didn't even know we had interior cameras there. The footage showed a long corridor. Concrete walls. Flickering fluorescent lights. At the end of the hall, someone standing still, wearing a police uniform. Back turned to the camera. Ramirez, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Leave the area. Do not approach the warehouse. He didn't answer. I tried again. Nothing. Then his unit status changed. On scene. I hadn't touched anything. The radio came back to life. Dispatch, Ramirez said quietly. I think I see the car now. My hands were shaking. Where are you, Ramirez? I'm standing by the loading bay. That's not possible, I said. You were past the address. I turned around, he said. I don't remember turning around. On the monitor, the figure in the hallway moved. It turned toward the camera. The face was blurred, like the feed couldn't focus on it. But the uniform badge number was clear. 3-Adam-12. Ramirez, I said, barely above a whisper. Do not go inside. I didn't, he said. It opened by itself. The radio cut to static. The interior camera went black. Every monitor in the room flickered. Then all unit statuses reset. Ramirez checked back in 30 seconds later, breathing hard, confused. He said he was sitting in his cruiser 2 blocks away, lights on, engine running. No memory of leaving the car. The warehouse cameras showed nothing. No patrol car, no hallway, no figure. The 911 call log vanished, and 3-Adam-12 was removed from the system history. Again. I finished my shift in silence. Before I logged out, a new line appeared on my console. Last user signed in, 3-Adam-12 time, 2:31 a.m. I never worked dispatch nights again. The call that shouldn't exist. I was working nights when the call came in, just after 1 a.m., the kind of hour where the streets feel abandoned and every porch light looks like it's watching you. Dispatch sent it as a priority welfare check. Possible intrusion. Caller reports someone inside the house. The address was in an older neighborhood on the edge of town. Small homes, big trees, long shadows. Dispatch tried to keep the caller on the line, but the call dropped before they could get any details. No history at the address, no previous calls, but protocol is protocol. I arrived in under 5 minutes. The house was dark, no lights, no movement, no cars in the driveway. The yard was overgrown, like it hadn't been touched in weeks. That should have been my first sign something was wrong. I knocked. Loud, police, nothing. I walked the perimeter. Front windows were dusty, spider webs thick in the corners. No footprints in the dirt, no sign of forced entry. Dispatch came over the radio. Any contact? Negative, I said. House looks empty. There was a pause. Copy, dispatch said. Caller stated someone was walking inside. I felt that familiar tightening in my chest. The one you get when the scene doesn't match the call. I tried the front door. It was unlocked. The door creaked open slowly, like it hadn't been moved in a long time. The air inside was stale, old, not the smell of someone living there, more like dust and cold wood. "Police," I called out. "If anyone's inside, announce yourself." My flashlight beam cut through the darkness. Empty living room, no furniture, bare walls, the kind of emptiness that feels intentional. I stepped inside. The door closed behind me, not slammed, just closed. I froze for a second, listening. No footsteps, no breathing, no sound at all. I moved down the hallway, checking rooms. Bedroom, empty. Bathroom, empty. Another bedroom. Same thing. No personal items. No signs of anyone living there. Then I saw it. At the end of the hall, a shadow, not cast by anything. No light source behind it. Just a tall, narrow shape standing where the back door should have been. It didn't move. Neither did I. My flashlight beam hit the wall, but the shadow stayed. I felt the hair on my arm stand up. "Police," I said again, louder this time. "Show me your hands." The shadow shifted, not walking, not stepping. It slid sideways like it wasn't attached to the floor. And then it disappeared. I backed up slowly, heart pounding, every instinct screaming that I wasn't alone. I checked the back door. Locked. Deadbolt still engaged. No way anyone could have gone out. Dispatch came over the radio again. "Unit, status check." "I'm inside," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "House appears vacant." "Copy," they said. "Be advised, records are coming back strange." "What do you mean strange?" Another pause. "This address is listed as unoccupied. Utilities shut off 3 months ago." I looked around the empty room. "Then who made the call?" Silence on the radio. I cleared the rest of the house. Attic access sealed. No basement. No crawl space big enough for someone to hide. Nothing. As I stepped back outside, the temperature felt different. Warmer, like the house had been holding the cold inside it. I locked the door behind me. Later that night, I stopped by records. The house had been vacant since the owner passed away. No family, no tenants, no active phone line registered to the address. But there was something else. 3 years earlier, another officer had responded to the same address. Same type of call. Someone inside. Same outcome. His report ended with one line. "Cleared residence. No occupants located. Shadow observed in rear hallway." I asked dispatch if they remembered the call. They didn't. The 911 recording wasn't in the system, but the call time was, logged at 1:06 a.m., the exact time I'd been sent. The house is still there, still empty, and every now and then, dispatch still gets a call from that address. No voice, just the sound of someone moving inside. I was assigned to overnight security at an abandoned high-rise scheduled for redevelopment. 32 floors, offices stripped clean, windows boarded, elevators locked out except for service access. Before my first shift, the site manager handed me a printed floor plan. "Only patrol floors 1 through 12, he said. "Above that is sealed." I asked why. "Because the rest of the building isn't safe," he said, "and because it doesn't exist anymore." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. My patrol started at 10 p.m. Floors 1 through 12 were exactly what you'd expect. Empty cubicles, old carpet stains, the smell of dust and stale air. At 11:48 p.m., my radio crackled. "Security, confirm location." "Floor 8, I replied. There was a pause. "Say again?" "8. That floor isn't showing on the system." I checked my patrol device. Floor 8 was listed, normal. "Everything looks fine from here," I said. "Copy," Control replied, sounding uncertain. "Proceed." At 12:30 a.m., I took the service elevator back to the lobby. The doors closed. The elevator moved, but the floor indicator didn't change. No numbers, just a blank black screen. The elevator stopped. The doors opened. I stepped out into a hallway I hadn't seen before. The walls were cleaner, newer, office lights on, carpet intact, no dust, and voices, muted conversations, phones ringing, printers humming. The building wasn't abandoned anymore. I froze. People walked past me without looking at me. Business attire, ID badges, coffee cups. They moved like I wasn't there. I checked the directory on the wall. Floor 13. That floor wasn't on the map. I tried the elevator. The call button didn't respond. "Hello?" I said to a woman passing by. She walked straight through me. Cold shot through my chest like I'd stepped into ice water. I realized something then. None of the people cast shadows. The lights flickered. Every sound stopped at once. All heads turned toward me. Their faces were wrong. Blank where eyes should be. Mouths frozen halfway through words. A man in a suit stepped forward. "You're early," he said. My radio crackled. Control's voice broke through, distorted. "Unit, where are you? You just disappeared from all cameras." "I'm on 13," I said.